Okay guys, welcome back. We're on the Barren Grounds by David A. Robertson, chapter 12, video 2. So we're learning a bit about the history of Misewa and also how there was another human visitor that came there and they were helping him. However, no matter how much they gave him, he wanted more. And it caused a lot of disturbance in the village of Misewa, where this man's greed and insatiable hunger or need to have more and more and more resulted in there was no animals left to hunt around the village because the animals refused to give up their lives for someone who was greedy. The seasons, or the cycles as they call them, stopped. They're now stuck in the white time, which is what we would call winter with a lot of snow. Also, it seems like this man took one of the members of Misewa with him when he left. So let's see if we can find out a little bit more. Finish at the very end here on page 100. We set off after the man, but he had gone too far already, and we couldn't find him. Misewa has lived through this cold ever since, and now we are dying. Ochek put a paw on Eli's shoulder. Eli came here through the great tree. I was there to greet him. Why? How did you know? Morgan asked. The answer to that is for a different time, Ochek said. What's important now is that he greeted me in the good words. That's Cree, Eli said proudly. So speaking Cree in Misewa are good words. Still, I've kept him a secret to others for my own reasons. I'll need to keep you a secret too, Ikeswis, but Eli here is able to live how we live. He is good on the land. I've taken him out with me on my trips to check my snares and reset them, to forage for foods and medicines, to hunt. He eats only what is given to him. He respects this place and the beings within it. He is living here in a good way. He's been waiting for you. Because of that, so have I. It's why I was able to find you over the barren grounds, or else we might have been waiting forever. Morgan's head was spinning. 15 days in Misewa time, the North Country, whatever Ochek called it, this place. In Earth time, for Morgan, it had been maybe 2 hours, depending on when Eli had left while she was asleep. Math was never really her strong suit. But the calculation wasn't rocket science. Every week here was probably around an hour in Earth time. That was a good thing, because if she'd been here a few hours, it was probably a few seconds on Earth. Well, we should probably go, Morgan said abruptly. What? Eli looked as if his heart had been torn out of his chest. Why? I don't want to go anywhere. You've been waiting for me? Morgan asked. She wasn't sure she believed that. He'd come because it reminded him of home, not to lead Morgan here. I came here looking for you to bring you back. We can't just... Morgan went for the door. She stared at the marks that indicated the days Eli had been here, and the knife sticking out of the wood. We have to go. We can't just leave our Earth and stay here. I promised Katie that I wouldn't run away. This would be running away, like super far away. You promised Katie? Eli said. I didn't. What's there for me now? They're not my family. I got taken away from my family. Yeah, but Eli, Morgan went back over and sat next to him. She put a hand on his shoulder. Even if you're not with your family, they're still waiting for you. How long have you been gone from your home, Morgan? Do you think your mom is still waiting for you? Morgan felt as though she'd been punched in the stomach. That's not fair. You know that's not fair, and it's totally different. I'm sorry, he said. That was very Morgan of you? Yeah, you could put it that way. What's this about your mother, Ikeswis? Ochek asked. Nothing, Morgan said. It's nothing. I just have to go back before Katie and James wake up. That's all. Katie and James? Ochek said. These are your parents? Are you children, brother and sister? They are not my parents, Morgan said. She tried to douse the flame in her chest with a few deep breaths. She spoke lower. But Eli is kind of my brother in a way. I'm responsible for him. That's why I walk him to school, walk him home from school. What is school? Ochek asked. Well, at least you're acting like a fantasy creature, Morgan said. School's where teachers make kids redo poetry assignments, even when the first poem they wrote is really good. Poetry? He said. I'll fill you in on the walk back to the great tree. Morgan got up again. Eli, come on. Can't we just... Eli stood beside her and looked up at her with those eyes of his. He may as well have been holding a black pirate hat against his chest, like that Puss in Boots gif Morgan had seen 1,000,000 times. You said I was gone for like 2 hours, and I've been here for 2 weeks, right? Can't we just stay here a bit longer? Like a week, and still get back before Katie and James are awake? Morgan looked at Eli suspiciously. I see you've done the math. It wasn't hard, he said. No, I guess it wasn't. Morgan went over to the shuttered windows and stared through the cracks like there was something to see, but there wasn't. The snow seemed to overtake even the darkness. The white thyme was the best name ever for the season this place was stuck in. What is this place anyway? Like the whole place. Osakai, Ochek said. Let's check out that pronunciation just to make sure. Osakai. Oh gosh, I was so wrong. ASCII, which means earth or ground. ASCII, beautiful. ASCII, Ochek said. Earth, Eli whispered. Okay, so they don't think they're on Earth, but ASCII means Earth. Well, Morgan turned away from the window. The whole darn place should be called the Barren Grounds. What are we even going to do here for a week, Eli? Have snowball fights? We're going to help, Eli said. Help? Morgan said. How can I help a village full of... She looked at Ochek. Are you all animals here? Walking, talking animals? In the village or everywhere? Ochek asked. In the village, she said. Then yes, he said. Okay, Morgan continued. How can I help a village full of walking, talking animals stuck in some never-ending winter? You can help like I've been helping, Eli said. Eli, I don't know the first thing about what you've been doing out here. We'll teach you, he said. Morgan threw her arms up in the air. Have you even looked for this guy? The one who stole your birds or whatever? We've no idea where the man went those many years ago, Ochek said. ASCII is big and our time is short. The green time is only where the man lives, Eli said. Wherever the summer birds are, they're being held captive. It's winter everywhere. And I guess even if you went on a search party, you'd starve to death if you didn't find the summer birds, like right away, Morgan said. Okay, so when the man left and he took the bird with him, he took the summer birds. And where Ochek lives, they believe that when the summer birds come in the springtime, they bring the warmth with them. Kind of like one of the first signs of spring we have in Manitoba is when the geese come back from the south. So it's an idea of like, here come the geese. That means they're bringing the warm weather with them. And it is kind of neat. Often it is the first symbol that warm weather is on its way. We'd have to know exactly where to look. Yes, Ochek said. Well, that sucks, she said, and nobody spoke for a long time. Then Morgan remembered the conversation that she and Eli were having before. So, this man, just curious, I know he's evil and everything, but what did you call him? Ochek looked ready to speak, stopped, then said, Napu. Let's check out that phonetic pronunciation. Napeu, which means man. Napeu. Morgan wondered if that was what he originally intended to say. Regardless, she prompted, and Napeu means... Eli sighed as he responded, man. Okay, Morgan clapped her hands. So every being on Askai is literally named after what they are. Girl, fisher, man, bear. For real? Not always, Ochek said defensively. Morgan continued as though Ochek hadn't said anything. What if there are two of you in the same village, like two fishers? Is it like Dr. Seuss, thing 1 and thing 2, or what? What is Dr. Seuss? Ochek asked. He was a writer. Never mind that, Morgan said. Well, I'm not going to name every being on Askai if that's what you want, Ochek said. Just call them what they want you to call them, Morgan, Eli said through his teeth, chiding her. But Eli's Eli, and I'm girl, Morgan said. Just to clarify. I've known him for weeks now, Ochek reasoned. That's why. Seems a little sexist, maybe. That's all, Morgan said under her breath, shrugging. I don't think I have time to finish this. Okay, I'm going to do the last video of this chapter. Okay, so we have them. They've decided, seems like they're going to stay for a little bit longer, another week, and then return. Because Eli says, hey, we can stay here a week and it's only 1 more hour back on our Earth's time. Okay? All right, guys, that's video 2, and video 3 will be right up. Take care.